Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 101 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Feels weird saying that.
It's just going to get like weirder and weirder.
It is. In 10 years when we're on episode 1, we'll have to stop saying episode numbers at some point, won't we? We can't now. It's our thing now. We've got to keep going with it.
We just go episode 101, episode 102.
Yeah, maybe. Coming up on this week's show, we got some Wrexham news to go through. The TST. Shouldn't say the TST, should I? Because it's
the soccer tournament.
So I'm saying the soccer anyway. TST. Transfer rumours. Episode 7 of Welcome to Wrexham, and we're going to have a look at 2 of our opponents for next season, as we always do.
Shirt this week.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do with the shirt is I'm trying to go back, forward, and I'm trying to sort of.
I'm making no effort whatsoever.
No, Shan's making zero effort with
well, I am actually.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the shirts that Sarah
yes.
and her lovely husband got.
Yes, it is. Yes. So,
I think I've gagged all of the shirts.
Yeah, you have.
They're all mine.
Yeah, I think she has.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to go backwards and forwards. So last week was the 2014 150th anniversary shirt. So now I've gone back forward to the 21-22 to a shirt that I think anyone watching the podcast will recognise because,
Definitely.
some of the other ones people may not have recognised because they were a lot older in the sort of early 2000s, stuff like that. This one, I think, is one of the ones that most people, even if they're new to Wrexham, are going to recognise. It's got the TikTok sponsor on it, all that sort of stuff.
Other sponsors are available.
Yeah, no, as we well know.
I will say this next bit.
Okay.
If you'd like to support us, then you can show us your support by visiting our Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can go to buymeacoffee.com/ hang on a minute, I'll read that again. buymeacoffee.com / me the wife.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, will you say thank you to me then? Thank you for letting me speak.
Yes.
Just a couple of thank yous this week. Karen and Mark Pendlebury, thank you very much for your support. We got an anonymous one as well, which was very kind. So thank you very much to everybody who supports the show. It really helps us. So it really does. Some news.
We did have another one, didn't we, yesterday?
Did we?
Yes.
Who was the other one?
I'm not going to mention their name because I'm not sure whether or not
that they're happy for their name to be mentioned. So, yes.
So you know who you are.
You do know
Thank
who you are.
Thank you very, very much. We love you very, very, very
much.
We
do. Well, I think you're okay with us mentioning your name, but we're not sure. So
we'd rather you say yes or no than us mentioning it.
We won't mention that one just for this week. So some news from the last week. I tell you what's really annoying about this show is we record on a Sunday and it comes out on a Monday. So the really annoying thing for us is when news happens on a Monday because we've already recorded, it's already scheduled to come out. So news happens in this weird little pocket in the middle, and then people are wondering why we're not talking about it. So we have mentioned it loads of times before that we record on a Sunday, release on a Monday. But one thing that came out on Monday last week was that Ben Toes had signed for Forest Green Rovers.
Really happy for him.
I'm happy that he's found a club.
I'm disappointed that what league they're in for him. I think he's better.
The National League.
I do think he's better than National League.
Okay. He played really well in the National League. He played every game in the National League. And I think one issue players have got when they drop down like they did with Wrexham at a certain age into the National League, and they perform really well in the National League. They then go up and maybe don't get as many minutes as they did the season before.
Yeah.
When they're then looking for a new club, perhaps people are looking at them going, well, he played really well in the National League. Maybe their level is a little bit higher. We do have to remember that Ben is 34. You know, he hasn't got years and years in front of him.
No.
So, yeah, I'm not saying I disagree with you that I think he's better than National League. I think he's just at a bit of a weird age at the moment. And looking back at recent history where he played really well, and maybe he didn't have his best season in League Two.
Yeah.
Perhaps that sort of signposted him a little bit as going, I'm a very good National League defender. And I don't know. So
obviously Ben is doing his coaching badges at the moment. So obviously we don't know what goes on behind the doors of other clubs. I mean, we don't even know what goes on behind closed doors of our own club. But maybe his choice was to go to National League.
Yeah.
Play there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do his coaching badges, possibly moving into coaching with Forest Green.
There might be a coaching element to it.
You don't know what's been agreed, do you? But
you don't, but it hasn't been mentioned that there's a coaching element to it. But yeah, look, the only thing that I worry about with him going to Forest Green, not so much that it's National League, because as I said, he's sort of come into that age now where, and he knows that. I'm not being horrible. He knows that because that's why he's doing his coaching badges now, because he knows the end of the career is coming up. But it is, Forest Green is a club that's potentially been mismanaged a little bit. You know, they've fallen from League One to League Two to National League after making a bit of a rise up through the league. So is it the best place for him? I don't know, really. I think I'd have preferred him going somewhere else.
I'm sure he would, maybe, but
I don't know.
We had I think I forwarded when they did the post about him moving or signing for Forest Green. I reposted it and obviously said good luck to him. And we had a Forest Green fan comment on it. I don't know whether it was, I think it was our post. Anyway, commented on it and basically said, is he any good?
Yeah.
And a few of us like, he is, and his long throw, his throw-ins or whatever you want to call it, is epic. And somebody else said he won't let you down. So for all you Forest Green fans, you do have a good one there. So be nice.
Be nice to him.
Be nice.
I think a lot of Forest Green fans that I saw were quite excited by the long throw.
Oh yeah.
They saw
they
saw how it really worked for us in the National League. I think, you've got to be excited. It's not someone who's just lobbing the ball in willy-nilly. He's honed that skill over, many years, and he's very good at it. And if you get a defender of the ilk of someone like Aaron Hayden, who can get on the end of things like that, then it's a dream come true for
Aaron
you.
Hayden? Do you mean Ben Tozer?
Aaron Hayden.
We're talking about Ben Tozer.
Yes, I said if you've got somebody who can get on the end of them throws, like an Aaron Hayden, then you've got the dream ticket, haven't you? Wow, bloody hell. Right. I've heard news that Mark Howard signed a contract for another season. I haven't seen that released anywhere, so I can't remember who told me that. I don't know where that came from, but apparently that's true.
Your dreams, maybe?
No, I don't know where that came from.
I've heard that as well, so it must be from somewhere.
Yeah, we'll gloss over that because I'm not sure about the actual legitimacy of that statement.
Earlier this week, there was an article. Earlier last week, sorry, not earlier this week, because we are like bang in the start of the week. So earlier last week, there was an article, not sure where it was, but basically saying that there are rumours that Jake Bickerstaff and Billy Waters are due to be sold to other clubs.
Yes.
And as you so rightly said, Gillingham are interested in Billy Waters.
I didn't say a word, but yes, go on.
As you've so rightly written, then Gillingham are interested in Billy Waters. I'm not so bothered about Billy Waters because obviously didn't really have much an effect on the team. I personally don't think.
No,
you may
agree.
disagree.
Agree? No, I agree.
But Jake Bickerstaff, if this is true and he is going, I get why they're thinking, but he's young. Like we talk about bringing younger players in. He is young. He is capable. And I just think maybe that would be a bit of a mistake. But then you've got to think about the summer signings, kind of releasing some equity or whatever you want to call it.
It's a strange one, and I get your point. About developing youth.
Yeah.
And he is at the younger end of the scale. So Sam, what we do with Sam Dalby,
there's been nothing about him.
That's another one. He's I think he's got another year left on his contract, perhaps.
Possibly.
So there's another one there. I don't know. I think the model that we've used recently is, we talk about the sort of retirement home of football, but it's a model that's sort of working for us.
Yeah.
Big impact towards the end of their career. Look at what Stephen Fletcher's done. Look at what James McLean's done. We are bringing in players that are of that age, and it's working.
It is working, but will it still work in the Championship and the Premier League?
I think you're jumping ahead of yourself.
No, it wouldn't. You've got to think long term, haven't you?
No, it wouldn't necessarily work there. Although there are clubs who do similar sort of things. But I get what you're saying. You need some sort of youth development, and Max Cleworth's the shining example of that people can come through and can push and can play games.
I bet there's definite eyes on him.
There will be, although you have to bear in mind as well, Max got his chance because of injuries. So you have to wonder a little bit, would Max have broken into the team and been such a shining light in the team if everybody in front of him was still fit?
You don't know, do you?
It's impossible to answer that question, but you just have to take your chances when they come.
Yeah, and he certainly grabbed it by the horns.
He has indeed. With Jake, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd like to keep him. I think I'd like to keep Jake over Sam, if I'm completely honest. But then if you get rid of Sam, you are getting rid of like a tall striker. But as long as we've got Stephen and as long as we've got Ollie, you do have that as well. I don't know. It's a strange one. Billy, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean,
I don't think he's made a massive impact on fans or massive impact on the club.
Not really.
So I don't think that's too much of a shock that he's going. But it's good that he's got a club interested in him.
I do find it odd that clubs are interested in him in League Two. Though no, and that sounds awful.
No, I get what you're going to say.
Because he hasn't really shown anything in League Two. He was at Barrow before he was with us. He didn't really show massive amounts at Barrow. He came to us. Hasn't really shown much. His best time was in the National League. So I do find it slightly odd, maybe that League Two clubs are after him. But
he was with Accrington, wasn't he?
Who?
Billy Waters last season.
No, Doncaster.
Was it Doncaster? Who was with Accrington?
Jake was.
Okay, I knew. So he was with Doncaster. He played 11 games and scored 1.
He didn't score any, I don't think. No, he didn't. Billy didn't score any.
Oh, Jake scored 1.
Yeah,
Jake did. Jake, yeah. So sorry, because I've so many figures. So Billy Waters played 11 games, didn't score any goals. Jake Bickerstaff played 10 games and scored 1 goal.
He did. So look, we'll have to wait and see on that one. I'll have to wait and see. One last one. Scott Butler will rejoin, shall I say, Marine on the 1st of July when his Wrexham contract expires after a successful loan. Because we obviously released him from his contract. That's another young player, which you could argue. Maybe there's
I can't really comment on Scott Butler because I've not really seen him play, so I can't say whether he's decent or not.
They've just been promoted. Seems like a good move. I think they're going to be in the National League North next season. If he can push on with them, best of luck to him.
Yeah,
best of luck. Yeah, 100%. One last thing before we move on. I just need to say happy birthday to a very special lady who happens to be sitting next to me. So it's Sian's birthday. Now, I'm going to say today, but it's not technically today, because today is Sunday for us, but Monday.
It's my birthday weekend.
Yeah. Siân makes the most of birthday weekend as well.
I milk it for all it's worth.
Yeah, so Siân is turning a certain age.
I'm 42, everybody.
There we go. I didn't want to say
42.
it. Yeah.
Not ashamed to say it. I don't think I look too badly for 42.
No, not too bad. No.
Not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Not too
I
shabby.
would say.
But yeah, I am starting to feel a bit of my age now. Very tired a lot, and yeah.
No, so happy birthday.
Thanks, babes.
And I'm sure if you would like to wish Siân happy birthday, please do so. But yeah, I hope you have a great day.
Well, the day will be over by the time this comes out.
Yeah, I know, that's true.
So yeah, but I've had a brilliant day.
Yeah, let's preempt it and say you've had a great day.
Ryan has taken me shopping
Yeah.
and spent lots of money on me.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that is what's happening.
That is what's happening. Let's have a little chat about the TST. You're not really into it, are you?
No, I find it all a bit bizarre. Like I'm trying to get. I mean, I think I've done myself proud getting my head around the football rules and stuff like that. But then when you throw TST into the mix, where there's just only 7 people on the pitch, the goalkeeper can score. Do they swap people?
Yeah,
I know they do that in normal rules, and then if they're drawing or if they're drawing, then they do like a target.
No, it's not even drawing. They do that anyway, regardless.
Oh, do they?
So the rule.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it's definitely been designed by stoners. TST at 100%.
Stoners.
Yes.
What's a stoner?
Somebody who smokes weed. 100%.
That's how naive I am. I didn't even know that's what that was.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. It is. So basically what happens, you play a game, 7v7.
Yep.
That's what happens.
Yep.
You get to the end of the game, and then you go into a third period.
Do they play for 90 minutes?
No, they don't. 20 minutes per half. And then at the end of the game, whatever the score is, so say a team is winning 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. That team hasn't won at that point. They then go into a third period, which is target score time. The target score to hit is the team that scored the most +1. So the team who scored the most have an advantage because they only have to score 1 more goal. But the team who scored 1, they still have a chance. So let's say a team is 4-0 up.
Yeah.
Okay. End of the game comes. You then go into target score time. The target score is 5.
Mm-hmm.
So the team with 4 only has to score 1 more. The team with 0 has to score 5. And then whoever gets to 5 first, they are the winner. Look. Siân's not into it at all.
I'm not into it.
She's not. You're not.
Yeah, I don't.
I find it fascinating. I love it. I do. The thing I find a little bit odd with it is the fact that you have a lot of. So you have the odd player, like you've got Mark Howard, who's playing in goal. You have Jake Bickerstaff, and then you have some absolute randoms who have nothing to do with Wrexham. You've got George Espinoza, you've got Manuel Figueroa, you've got George Boyd, and then you have these players, and you go, Gary Hooper was playing up front for, and it's like these. So it is very much an invitational. So you can invite in whoever you want into your team. I think Siân would very much be more into it if it was all the Wrexham players. Yeah.
But I understand, obviously, we've got the games against Bournemouth and Chelsea and whatever.
Yes. So I can guarantee you would be, if Paul Mullin was up front and, George Evans was in midfield, and then we had Owen O'Connell at the back, Mark Howard in goal, you'd be into it then. Yeah. I know 100% you would be.
Yeah, I would. But, I mean, I have watched a little bit of it. I'm not saying I completely vetoed it and said, no, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
It's just way over my whatever. But I quite like George Boyd.
Yeah, I know.
And I said to you, didn't I? I said, can we sign him? And he's like, how old is he?
Too old.
Yeah. Even too old for our retirement home.
I think so, yeah.
It's a shame, but he's really good.
Yeah, he is.
For his age. So yeah, but it's 7 aside. It's for 40 minutes in total.
Well, another rule in the target score time, obviously it's the first 2 whatever.
Yeah.
The leading scorers +1. But there is another rule in there which I didn't mention, which you play for 3 minutes. If nobody's got to the target score, they remove a player from each side. So then it goes to 6 versus 6. And then they play for another 3 minutes. If no one's got to the target score, it goes to 5v5, 4v4, 3, 2, until you've just got one of each team on.
How long has this tournament been going on for? Is it
It's
a new thing?
It was on last year.
No, I know it was on last year.
Yeah.
But
last year was the first one. This is the second year of it. Yeah.
that's mental.
Yeah, it is.
It's an amazing thing that we're getting invited to play, it's just a very bizarre.
Look, we lost. The men lost their opening game to FC Roja. Their goalkeeper loved that. He was proper taunting down the camera.
He got some stick for that from Wrexham fans.
I know. Yeah. He absolutely loved that one. We lost that one 4-2. Second game we won against Saturday's football.
This is another thing.
I know.
Like
I knew you were going to say it.
Like Saturday's football and Reggae Rovers.
Yeah.
I mean, who comes up with these names? It's so bizarre.
I know. So we second game we beat Saturday's football. It was 0-0, and then we won that 1-0 in target score time.
Frankie Bridge and Rochelle Humes in it and stuff on the Saturdays.
The third game was the best of the lot. Absolutely, we had to win to qualify. We were 2-0 down early on, 2-1 at half time. It was 2-1 at full time, so that means the target score was 3. Mark Howard scored.
I saw that.
To make it 2-2, and honestly, the string of amazing saves he made in that game. He had the game of his life.
He was on fire.
Scored. He made about 12 saves. He was absolutely brilliant.
He was on fire.
And then George Boyd, your favourite, he won it right at the end when it had got all the way down to 2 versus 2. So I think it was Jake Bickerstaff and George Boyd, and then they had one of their players and a goalkeeper. Honestly, I love it, and I wish we could have gone all the way and won it.
Yeah. I mean, God, if we'd won it, I would have been a little bit more interested. But
the round of 32, we won that at 6-0. George Boyd scored an absolute rocket in that one. David Jones scored as well. Mark Howard scored the winner again, so he scored 2 in this tournament.
There's a video of him walking. They filmed him like walking back after scoring this goal, and he just looks at some. I don't know who he's looking at, whether it's the fans or whatever, but he just gives this little like. Yeah, I just did that.
We got knocked out, as Sean said. One of the teams Sean mentioned there was Reggae Rovers. They were very
good.
They were good. They were young.
Yeah.
And lots of energy. We didn't really get close to them, if I'm perfectly honest. They got we did okay in the round of 16. That was like I said, I'd love to have won it. The women unfortunately lost all 3 of their games. So the women lost to Angel FC. I can't remember who they lost 4-3 as well against somebody, and I can't remember who that was. And then they lost to the US women as well. Rosie scored a couple of goals. Look, as a tournament, I hope, hand on heart, hope we get invited to this every year, because I really enjoy it.
It's the first time the women's team have been invited, isn't it?
It is,
so
yes.
Fingers crossed they will get to go every year from now on, and we obviously get to go. I mean, they probably will invite us because they know that we won't get very far.
No, I don't. Look, they did really well, and
they did do well. To be
but
fair.
You could just see that there was other teams that were a lot more into it. I think it's really worthwhile. I think the fact that we've only got we've got Mark Howard in there who, look, we don't know what's going to happen in the season coming up, but very much the backup goalkeeper. Jake Bickerstaff, who isn't in the first team, has been out on loan, and even if he was at the club, he'd generally be on the bench or playing in the reserves or something like that. So we're not really, it's not as if we're risking first team players in this.
No, just in the pre-season.
In the pre-season, yeah, I know. But so I'd love to be invited to this every year, because a friend, someone that we know, Bryant, he always reposts all of our episodes when they come out. He was actually at the TST, got to see lots of pictures. One thing that Bryant said when he was at the TST is how much he praised Mark Howard. He said after the game, he was always, of all the players and the coaches, he was always the last to leave. He made sure he signed all of the kids' sort of like things. He was there, he talked to people, and he was the last one to leave. Every single game, he was, he made sure he made time for all the fans.
The kind of guy that he is, though, isn't it?
It is, and do you know what? If you want someone to be like an ambassador for Wrexham, and somebody who actually plays for Wrexham, for him to be the one that actually does that, I think that's a really nice thing as well. I did
obviously Mark Howard scoring his 2 goals. I just put somebody put something. I said he's been on fire or something like that, and he liked it. That's nice of him, isn't it?
It is nice.
He is very down to earth.
He is. Look, we're going to have a look at a couple of transfer rumours. I've picked 2 out this week, sort of 3, but we'll get to that in a minute. First one's Caden Jackson.
Never heard of him.
Okay, that's fine. You don't need to have heard of him. I will talk you through it. Don't worry.
Thank you.
So he's a 30-year-old winger.
Shocking.
30's not old, though. You don't have to be down on the 30s.
But isn't that old in football terms? I know it's not old in like general terms.
Let's just say experienced.
Okay.
He has played as a striker in his time. Generally, he plays out on one of the wings, generally. The weird thing is we don't really play with wingers, so I'm not sure where he would fit in. What we tend to do is buy wingers and convert them into wing backs. The concern which I've voiced on here before is a winger goes through a lot of his career as a winger. A winger is an attacking player, likes to get balls in the box. We buy them, convert them to wing backs who their job is all the attacking stuff, but they have to do the defending stuff as well. Maybe they're not great at that. You never really know. He's been released by Ipswich, so he's a free agent. So that's another good one. 199 appearances he played. He made for Ipswich. 28 goals, 23 assists in his time. He did play 36 games for Wrexham in the 15-16 season. So a lot of people have been calling for him to come home, as it were. Played last season in the Championship with Ipswich. Ipswich obviously got promoted up to the Premier League, got to the end of his contract, has been released. He's been there for 5-6 years. He has been there for quite a while, in and around, a club that's obviously very progressive and is doing very well.
Yeah.
I think they're the sort of players that we definitely need to be looking at, who've been playing in teams that are doing well, because you want players who are used to winning and who like winning and want to keep on going out there every week and winning. 199 games, but only 28 goals. Isn't a great...
What's the average then? Come on, maths.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 in 7.
Okay. I'm going to work that out after, make sure.
You're more than welcome to, but that's a rough guess. Which isn't great numbers, but if you're playing out on the wing, you're not necessarily getting loads of goals. But as I say, he has played as a striker. I think the thing is, sometimes on paper doesn't always do a player justice, in the sense of when we bought Ollie, for example, he was averaging over his career a goal every 4 games. Everyone loves Ollie now. Ollie does a job. Last season, every time Ollie played, he did a job for us.
Yeah.
Didn't bag loads of goals, but, I think sometimes it's a little bit unfair to judge players on how many goals that they're actually scoring.
Isn't it? And,
As well, you don't know what them appearances entail. Now, he wasn't a starter in the Ipswich team. He wasn't playing week in, week out for them. So, of them 199 appearances, you've got substitute appearances where he's come on for the last 10 minutes of a game, the last 20 minutes of a game, started a game and come off after an hour. So it's not like he's played 90 minutes week in, week out, 199 times. If he had done that, then you'd sort of go, he's not scoring much, is he? And he's not assisting much. He might have been coming on a lot of the time when the game's already dead. They're 3-0 up and they're not really pushing for more goals. And so it's really hard to say. Look, I remember the guy. I remember him playing. I remember him scoring against Chester at the racecourse. So he'll be forever loved for that one. I think we beat Chester 3-0. Okay, at the racecourse. I think he scored one and set 2 up. Or maybe scored 2. Whatever. He definitely scored 1. And I remember him assisting another. He might have won the penalty as well that we got in that game. So, yeah. Anyway, so I very much remember him for that. I think he scored 8 or 9 goals for us when he was here. I think he'd be a decent addition for me. But it's just hard to work out. I don't think this is a rumour that has necessarily
got legs.
Maybe not. I think this rumour is born out of the fact that he used to play for Wrexham.
He's a free agent.
He's come out. He's out of contract, and he's played in the Championship. I think them 3 things combined, everyone's gone, well, he's obviously coming then, and they've just
and he's 30.
Yeah, I know, and I think everyone's just pushing that out there, and perhaps it hasn't got legs. Who knows? Look, it's a rumour, and I just want to report the rumours to you. So there we go. I don't know about that one. The next one is Tom Pearce. You'll be pleased about this one. He's only 26.
Yeah.
Tom Pearce. He was released by Wigan. So another free agent.
Yep.
No transfer fee for that one. He missed 22 games last season with a knee injury.
Oh, Christ.
So in the 23-24 season, he made 28 appearances, scored twice, 4 assists. He's a defender. He's a left back. Okay. Right. So that's your Mendy McLean sort of side of the pitch. If you want to play McLean more centrally, something out on the left.
Well, we all know that McLean is good in any position, don't we?
We all know that,
we
don't
all know
we?
That, don't we?
So, look, he missed 22 games. Although, from his stats, it sort of appears like he pretty much played every game when he was fit. So it wasn't as if he was...
Was he injured due to a foul? Was it due to whilst he was on the pitch, or was it during training? Or
I have no idea. All I know, it was a knee injury. Because
you kind of think, don't you? You know, if he injured his knee whilst he was, I don't know, skiing or something, then you kind of you can look at him, or if he got fouled on the pitch.
Yeah.
But if he got injured because
he has had a couple of injury issues in his career.
I wonder if footballers are allowed to go skiing.
I would have thought so. I don't know. It depends. I don't know. What a random question.
Well, it's not, is it? Because it's like, you know.
Well, yeah, but you could. I'm sure where do you draw the line of what they can and can't do? They let them go to Vegas and get, you know. Look, he played 10 games for Leeds in the Championship in the 18-19 season. He did play in the 0-0 draw between Wigan and Wrexham in the League Cup last season. He only played 82 minutes of that game, so he didn't take a penalty or anything like that. Just a quick one on Tom Pearce. Wonderboy on Twitter said Tom Pearce has offers in League One, and we have shown the best interest so far. So I think we're definitely in for him. He's a free agent, so there's none of that to in and fro in between clubs as to what the best, what price he's available for. But yeah, so one to keep an eye on, I would say, and we'll see. Everything's taking longer at the moment, so we'll just have to wait and see. I did want to throw one other one in there. It's Marco Morosi. So he currently is the Shrewsbury goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, he is at the end of his contract. They are trying to renegotiate a contract with him. But we'll watch this space about that one, because the reports that I'm hearing is he doesn't want to stay.
And who could blame him?
It would be a very good addition, but we will potentially talk about that in an upcoming episode. I'll try and get a little bit more information about what's going on there, and then we'll come back to you on that one. Look, we have been rubbish. we at the start of the summer, we said, look, we're going to have a little suggestion box. Send in anything you want us to talk about. Send in any questions you want us to answer. And we have been atrocious at keeping up with this. Look, last week, I'm gonna blame the fact that last week was our 100th episode. There was a lot of work that had to go into that, a lot of interviews we had to do. That excuses 1 week. Not sure what excuses the rest of the week, but look. Suggestion box, if you want us to talk about anything, or if you want to ask us a question that we will answer, then please send us an email, send us something on Twitter, send us something on Facebook, all the other stuff. Our email address is me_and wrexhamafc@gmail.com. So get your questions in. We will answer them. We have got one. I would say it's this week. I'm not 100% sure it was this week. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, but it was Chris Davis. And he said, who would be your ultimate fantasy signings? Who would your ultimate fantasy signings be for next season? So just for context, I don't quite know what you mean by fantasy signings, in the sense of if we could literally pick anyone, you might be asking us who our favourite players are. So I'll answer that one first. But then you might be asking, no, seriously, who could come in and who would you like to see?
Why don't you do seriously and I'll just do never going to happen, because I don't really...
Okay, you do never going to happen. Who would you like? Who is your favourite player that you like to watch?
Well, he doesn't play football anymore, but I really like Mika Richards.
Yeah. Okay.
Like him. He's just funny. I think...
For the bit of dressing room banter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like him. And I think Phil Foden's been amazing this season for Man City, hasn't he? So, I'm going to... Strangely... Forever young, he is.
Strangely...
Yeah.
He would be mine.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one player right now that I would love... Fantasy. I'm using your word fantasy here because it's never going to happen, obviously. But I think it would have to be Phil Foden, hands down, for me at the moment. So look how you've grown as a person. We're sharing our favourite player and stuff.
Shut up.
For me, if I was talking about signings that could actually possibly happen, I think Ekpiteta would be high on my list, if I'm completely honest, just purely for his absolute size, stature. I think we're definitely in the market for a centre back. He has played in the Championship. He has played lots of games in League One. I think Ekpiteta would be high, if not top of my list of going out to get. He is a free agent. That's another big tick. So it would be one that I'm looking at. I think the other thing that I'd really want to see is a striker, but I'm struggling to work out what I want from a striker, because over the last few years, I've been so used to seeing big man, little man.
I don't think that's going to change, though.
I don't think that's going to change. So if you were going to throw, I suppose Jamie Vardy would be a fantasy sort of signing, but
he's just signed.
But that's that, yeah. But
Signed,
yeah. So that would be on the sort of fantasy side of things. But even at his age, that would be a great player. But would he play with Mullin? I'm not really sure. Not that I'm not sure he would play with Mullin. It's who Parky wants to play with Mullin. He wants that sort of big man. So I think to answer your question, Phil Foden, if we're talking 0% chance, but Ekpiteta for me as a real possibility for someone that we could sign. I think he'd be I'm always going to pick a defender though, Chris, if I'm honest, because
being a defender myself.
I'm always going to look more at defenders, I think. So
yeah.
So that's the one for me.
Yeah. Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah, we'll have a quick chat about Welcome to Wrexham.
So episode 7.
Penultimate episode.
I know, I can't believe it.
I know. They've done what they've done this time. So I think there was 16 episodes previously, but what they were doing sort of 22-minute episodes, releasing 2 of them a week and then doing 16 of them. It's exactly the same. We're just getting them all in one episode, 40 odd minutes. So, it is what it is. We had a look at James McLean's yellow cards,
Oh my
didn't
God,
we?
hilarious.
Yeah.
There's like a montage of yellow cards for James McLean. They actually spoke to James McLean as well. Yeah, I still love him. I think he's great.
Yeah, I think he's fast become a fan favourite. They did touch on sort of the whole Poppy scenario and why that's quite prevalent. What we've decided is we're not going to talk about
No,
that.
because everyone's entitled to their own opinion on things.
Exactly, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
They do what they need to do, and we don't really want to come down. We don't want to offend anyone because I think whichever side of that you come down on, I think you potentially offend somebody with that.
Yeah, I think as long as he's scoring his goals, as long as he carries on being, given the away fans jip or whatever, the opposing team jip, in a nice way, I just think, why bring politics into it? I don't. It just, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. We're not going to give you our opinion. We're not going to disagree or agree with his opinion. End of.
Yeah, look, it was. I tell you what I liked about this episode more so than previous episodes. It jumped. So I've got a very short attention span. I'm
still surprised he's still with me, if I'm honest.
I have. I like sort of the way that this last episode was set out, because we got a bit of the Tranmere game, a bit of the trouble surrounding the Tranmere game. Then we moved on to the women. Then we moved on to something else, and that kept my attention. As somebody with a quite short attention span, that kept my attention. Talking about the Tranmere game, well, I'm not going to talk about the game, but we saw like a bit of trouble, a little bit of disorder, all that sort of stuff. And one thing that you brought up, you said, "Oh, well, we don't see any of this," which I don't think you've ever really seen trouble at a game, have you? In the short time you've been going, the last few years, I don't think you've seen any sort of real trouble, have you?
I think obviously times have changed a bit as well. You are going to get the odd fan who's a bit boisterous, and I do say to you during a game, like, you have the away fans, and they're very like vocal, aren't they?
Yeah.
And so are our fans. But I feel like sometimes away fans only go to games just to goad the home fans.
Yeah.
And I just think, are you actually watching this game?
I know,
I just,
Some
I don't
people
get
love
it.
it, though. Some people love
I
that
don't
whole
get
side
it.
of it.
I just, go to the football. And the thing that annoys me about that sort of behaviour as well is there's families there. There's little children there. There's, there's, what's the word? There's, what's the word?
I don't know what the word is. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Influential children, not influential.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Know what I mean? Yeah, kids who are, who look up to...
They're like a sponge.
Yeah, exactly. And, we've kind of told Alfie, our 12-year-old, that, yes, there's going to be swearing. Yes, there may be this, that and the other. But we kind of instill in our child that swearing and that sort of behaviour is not acceptable.
Yeah. But we do it at the football.
Well, we're not like...
No, I know, but I'm just saying it happens at the football.
No, it happens. I thought you meant we do it. I was like, I'm not abusive.
Abusive?
Oh yeah, I am. I do raise my voice a little bit. I'm not horrible.
Right, this isn't a parenting class. Bloody hell, let's move on. Anyway, the Tranmere game, bit of trouble. Obviously, a bit of trouble in the game as well. Them celebrating that like they won the league.
Mullen mentioned that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think it just shows how much it means to people to beat us and put us in our place, because it's not that they're not the only team who did it. Do you know what I mean? And
Accrington did it, didn't they? When we were away.
Yeah, there's a few clubs that did it.
Yeah.
And I think it just goes to show how much it means to people to beat us, which I'm happy with. That's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I tell you, we saw a glimpse of Peter, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
So our friend Peter from Austria, he had a fan cam. We sorted a fan cam for him for the day, for
the game
through the people at Welcome to Wrexham, and we saw a brief glimpse of him looking disappointed at the end of the game. So that was great.
We also saw Chaz and everyone as well.
We did see Chaz. Yes, we
And
did.
if you like pause it when it's on Chaz and everybody, you can.
People aren't going to know who Chaz is, though.
Oh yeah, he's yeah.
Like it,
I just assume that everybody knows everybody.
I know, like we're a big community and everyone knows everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, when it was on there, there's like half of my body on there as well. So technically, I have been on the Welcome to Wrexham's.
Yeah, you have.
documentary.
Look, we had an explanation of the women's league as well, which I think because it's very different to the men's. I'm glad they put that in because obviously it's a league of 8, and then they get to a certain point in the season, then they split the league in half, and then you've got the championship half, and you've got the potential relegation half of the league. So I think it was quite good to see that and to explain that to people. That does happen in a lot of leagues around the world. I think that happens in Scotland as well. But it obviously doesn't happen in the English game. In the men's English game, that doesn't happen. So I was glad they explained that. And it was interesting for me to see what their expectations were for the season. They wanted to sort of try and finish 4th, but then as they got into the season, it was like 3rd and then 2nd. They wanted to finish 2nd, and I do find it fascinating. If I'm perfectly, I know it sounds like I'm drunk, but we had a little look at the Mansfield game in the documentary, which was the Me, the Wife, and Wrexham AFC game of the season, as voted for by you lovely people. So it was nice to see that, and we got to see Manny and his drum, didn't we?
I think he's been doing this since he was 12. And he said he used to practice on a pillow in his bedroom. I just think he's super. He's 17 now, isn't he? Or is he 18?
I'm not. I think
I can't remember.
Might be 18 now.
Yeah. So he's been doing this since he was 12. And I just think he's superb, but I feel sorry for him because he's, obviously he has to, because the drum is so big. Yeah. He has to face
sideways.
Sideways. So it's like he's missing the game. But I just think he is just so integral to like the way the atmosphere is at the racecourse.
Yes.
Do you know when we go on our away days, I try and I like to be by Manny because it's just such a great atmosphere.
I'm not sure I'd like to sit next to him every game, if I'm perfectly honest. But at the away games, we do try and get quite close to him.
He is superb. So
we had a little look at the obviously the Doncaster game. Let's just move on from that.
We had a nice time in Doncaster.
We did.
Apart from that game.
Apart from the game. And then obviously the announcement of the women's tour as well. I'm sort of sad that I don't think I've been as into this season as I have previous seasons, but I am still quite sad that it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Because we've got that's it.
We got the Euros coming up, so we're all right. And
that's not exciting because we're not in it.
No, that is true as well.
We've got the obviously the pre-season games coming up, so whether we get to watch those, I don't know.
We'll be on all day when every single one of them is on.
So no.
Probably not. No, because we'll be in Spain. But yeah, we'll give it a go anyway. Look, we're going to have a look at 2 of our opponents for next season because we've realised we're rapidly running out of weeks and we're doing 1 a week. So this week we're going to have a look at Shrewsbury and Stockport. So one is an actual rival. The other think there are rivals, but we generally don't care about them. So first up is Shrewsbury, which is a local derby, proper rival for us, 34 miles away. About 40 minutes-ish, depending on how fast you drive. They play at the New Meadow, and they have done since 2007. The capacity is 9,875. It's about 1,800-ish away fans for that one. Decent-ish allocation, I suppose.
1,800?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
The last game was the FA Cup game last season, which is in January, where we beat them 1-0. Tom O'Connor scored the winner in that one. The last league game was in April 2008, which we lost 3-0. We lost both league games to them that season, home and away. And it was the season that we actually got relegated down to National League, where we obviously spent 15 years down there. They were founded in 1886. Their nickname is the Shrews or Salop, whoever you ask for. Whoever you ask. Why did I put 4 at the end of that? They're managed by Paul Hurst, and it's the second time he's been there. He took over in January after Matt Taylor was sacked, not long after we beat them in the FA Cup. Not saying we're the reason, but there we go. They finished last season 19th on 48 points, 4 points above the relegation zone. They didn't win any of their last 7, so to be completely honest, they were quite lucky to stay up in the end. Top scorer was Daniel Udo. They've released 8 players this summer, and at the point when I did this, they hadn't made any new signings.
Our next opponent.
This is the one who think they're our rival, but we genuinely couldn't care less about.
Yeah, Stockport County. They are about 51 miles away from where we are, which
I'll
is...
stop you there. They're not about 51 miles away. They are exactly. I don't mess about with miles.
Oh, okay.
From the Stoke Kairas to Edgeley Park is 51 miles.
Right, they're 51 miles away from us, which is about an hour-ish, which is, unless you drive like a demon, then you could get there quicker. They play at Edgeley Park. Their capacity is 10,852, which gives them about 1,500 away fans allocation, which can be stretched, apparently, if required.
It can be. It depends where they put them.
Yeah. So we know them very well after they beat us both in the... after they beat us to both the National League title in 21-22.
And obviously last season when they beat us to the League 2 title.
But we smashed them at the racecourse at home. So,
yes.
you know. So we are very 50-50 record. We have a very, very 50-50...
We've got a very 50-50 record against Stockport, to be honest. Last couple of seasons, they've beat us when we've played at Edgeley Park. We've beat them when we've played them at the racecourse. So it has been quite 50-50, to be honest. Last season, they beat us away. Yeah, sorry, I'm repeating myself. We also beat them in the FA Trophy semi-finals, obviously in 21-22, when we made it to Wembley and ended up losing that one.
They were founded in 1883 and they are nicknamed the Hatters. And Ryan's put in brackets because they are mad. But I don't think that's the reason why they're called the Hatters.
It's not. It was a Mad Hatter joke from Alice in Wonderland. The reason they're called the Hatters, it's to do with the hat trade that used to be in Stockport back in the 1800s or whatever. So that's why they're called the Hatters. Similar reason, I think, why Luton are called the Hatters as well. Because of the hat trade that used to go on in the area.
So they're managed by Dave Chandler, and he's been the manager for the last 3 years. Their top scorer is Isaac Alafe.
I'll jump in.
Who has scored 20 goals for them last season, including a hat-trick against us. Boo. Have released 7 players this summer. 3 further players left. Paddy Madden, who's gone to Chesterfield. Anthony. Yep. That's what it says.
Anthony Sarcevic.
Who's gone to Bradford, and Connor, I can't speak. Connor Lemonhay Evans has gone to MK Dons.
Yeah.
And they have got 6 loan players return to their parent club.
Yeah, so they've signed 2 players so far. 3 players so far this summer. They've signed Jaden Fevrier and Jay Mingy, both from Colchester. I think they're 21 and 23, so very much gone down the youth route with that one. And they've signed Billy Chadwick from Hull. The bookies have them as 10th favourite for the League One title.
I found that bizarre. Where are we?
4th. Yeah. Anyway, quick shout out to some people who got in touch this week. This is very much all about the congratulation messages that we got for our 100th episode. I am going to spiel off some names very quickly. I'll try and get as many in as I can. Chaz, Jay, Kiro, Peter, Michael Smith, Paul Kelly, Carlo Wilson, Daniel Parry, Silvio Fancyboy, JPH, Christian, Nigel, Darren, Todd Cross, Ben Parker, Richard V. Jones, Spirit of 78, Drew, Jamal, and also Northern Border, who said the 2014 150th anniversary kit that I wore in the 100th episode is giving him major Freddy Krueger vibes, but he loves it.
I also wanted to mention our parents as well.
Yes.
If you've seen on our Twitter, on our socials, we posted a few pictures. So last week, our amazing parents. So Ryan's parents had a plaque specially made for us, and my parents had a cake specially made for us.
Yeah, to celebrate the 100th episode.
So yes, I do want to mention, and we will put her name, the lady who made the cake, Piece of Cake by Jane. We will put a link to her Facebook page
down in the description if you're watching.
I'm not
YouTube.
sure she'll make cakes for people who are in America, but obviously people who are local.
Yes, I'm sure she will.
Thank you so much, Jane. It was absolutely amazing.
It's gone.
It literally went in 2 days.
Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run 2 weekly Zoom calls. One is on a Monday at 8 p.m. and that is for women. And the other one is on Thursday at 7 p.m. And that is for the men. The best thing to do is follow Dragon Chat-Steve Lloyd on Twitter. Quiz time.
Quiz time.
You excited?
Depends.
Okay.
Ask me after all the questions.
Okay. This is, what this is this week is a listening quiz. So have you put your phone down, yeah?
A listening quiz?
Have you put your phone down?
Yeah.
Yeah, moved it away from the area, yeah?
It's behind me.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it stays behind you, that is fine. So it's a listening quiz. You always tell me I don't listen to you. So obviously I do all the notes and I write, all the notes in for the episodes. So this is more a quiz to see how much you've listened to me and taken in what I'm going to
predict I've done really badly in this.
Okay, well, look, it's not ridiculously hard. Please, let's see how well everyone listening and watching have done. Please post your scores down below just to see if you've beat Sian. That would be great if you just comment on this to say what your scores are. Okay, question 1. So this is all stuff that has been spoken about in the episode today.
Oh, Christ.
Okay. Number 1. Shrewsbury Town are known as the Shrews. And what other...
Salop.
Well done. 1. Number 2. Stockport have made 3 signings so far in the summer. Name one of them.
Billy Chadwick.
Well done. I thought... Do you know what? Do you want to go for the others? It's not Billy Chadwick I thought you'd get, if I'm honest. No?
No, I can't remember the
Jay
other.
Mingy, I thought you'd get. I thought that one would stick in your head, but obviously not.
The
Okay.
Mingy bit did, but the first name didn't.
We've been linked with a move for former Red Dragon Caden Jackson. I say linked. I'm using that term very loosely. But which championship club has he been released from?
Lincoln City.
Lincoln City.
No.
Completely incorrect. No. You're not getting a point, but do you want to have another stab?
No.
Ipswich. Number 4. How many minutes did transfer target Tom Pearce play at the racecourse in the 0-0 League
82 minutes.
Well done. God, you listen. This is you do listen. Yeah. Okay. Where do one of our League One opponents for next season, Shrewsbury Town, play their home games? Say again.
Meadows.
The Meadow. You're missing something. I will give you an opportunity to correct that.
The Meadows?
No, it's not the Meadow. The Meadow bit is right, but you're definitely missing something.
The Meadow Fields?
No, you're missing something in the middle.
Oh no, I can't.
No. Okay, so I'll give you half a point for that one.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so 3.5 you can have. So they only ground in 2007. Okay,
which was a while ago.
Yeah. Okay, but obviously they played a lot more games somewhere else. So that was where they used to play, and this is where they play now. So it's called the.
I don't know.
So it's not the old place they play.
Oh, it's the New Meadow.
The New Meadow. So you've done all right there.
Is that it?
That is it. Yeah, 5 questions. So you got 3.5. Some may argue 4. I am not one of them people who would argue 4.
No, do you know what? We have been recently, we've been playing games on the Switch with Alfie. And the other day, this got nothing to do with the podcast or anything, I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
So I was winning, and Alfie and Ryan were both losing, and they got very annoyed. Ryan got bored.
We talked about this.
Because he wasn't winning, he got bored. But then last night we played, and he won.
No, I
no, you didn't win. Yeah, but
didn't. I come third.
Oh yeah, but you did pretty well.
We talked about this in this episode already. Short attention span.
Yeah.
Short attention span.
Sore loser is what I call it.
No, not at all. Well, maybe a little bit, but the thing that keeps my attention is winning. Okay, and when I'm not winning, I get bored very quickly.
So that's why you're still with me, because you feel like you're winning every single day.
Yeah.
Let's end on that.
Yeah. So look, one final time, very happy birthday to Siân.
Thank you for all my presents.
It's all right, not a problem. So yeah, we will see you again next week for episode 102. We got a guest on next week who's going to have a little chat to us. So yeah, look forward to that one, and we'll see you then.
Have a good week.
Bye.